Tensions are already sky high ahead of the final Old Firm showdown, and now the stakes have been taken to another level entirely. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Celtic have made a hugely controversial move that could completely change the atmosphere of the title-deciding clash at Parkhead next month. According to reports, Rangers have been informed that no away supporters will be allowed into the stadium for the final derby of the season, wiping out an allocation of around 2,200 tickets that would normally be handed to the Ibrox side. This isn't just a minor dispute, this is a seismic development. With Danny Roll's Rangers currently sitting ahead in the Premiership standings, heading into the post-split fixtures, this Old Firm encounter on May 10th could be decisive in the title race. But instead of a cauldron of split support, it now looks set to be a one-sided Parkhead crowd, something that could hand Celtic a major psychological edge. The decision reportedly stems from Celtic's demand that no tickets be sold to the Union Bears, effectively shutting the door on any Rangers presence inside the ground. Unsurprisingly, the reaction from Ibrox has been furious. Rangers chiefs are said to be exploring their options after being hit with what they view as a massive and unfair blow. And the backdrop to all of this only adds fuel to the fire. The fallout from last month's explosive Scottish Cup quarter-final still lingers, where chaotic scenes saw hundreds of supporters spill onto the pitch after a dramatic penalty shootout victory for Celtic. That incident is now under investigation by the Scottish FA, with tensions between the two clubs already stretched to breaking point. Rangers, however, have strongly defended their fan base, while also condemning deeply offensive actions that cross the line. In a powerful statement, the club said, "What we can say now is that issues of stadium safety and the legacy of the Ibrox disaster are deeply personal to this club. We were appalled to discover graffiti within the stadium referencing that tragedy. The memory of the 66 supporters who lost their lives in January 1971 deserves dignity and respect. To desecrate their memory is vile. It is cowardly. It is shameful. This is not football rivalry, and it is not banter. It is the abuse of a tragedy that claimed 66 lives. Finally, it is important that the reputation of Rangers supporters is treated fairly in this discussion. Tens of thousands of people attended Ibrox on Sunday simply to support their team with pride and to watch a football match. We will not accept a narrative that ignores the full context of what happened." Now, with the title race on a knife edge and emotions already running high, this latest development has turned one of football's fiercest rivalries into an all-out war off the pitch as well. If this decision stands, the final Old Firm clash won't just be about football, it will be about atmosphere, advantage, and a controversy that could define the season. In other news, Barry Ferguson has openly questioned James Tavernier's shock decision to announce his Ibrox exit at such a critical stage of the season, admitting the move completely blindsided him and left him wrestling with mixed emotions. The Rangers captain, who only days earlier insisted he wasn't focused on his future amid a tense title race, stunned supporters by confirming he will leave the club as a free agent at the end of the campaign. With just 5 games remaining and everything still to play for, the announcement has sparked widespread debate, and Ferguson has now added serious weight to that conversation. Speaking candidly, he didn't hold back on his initial reaction. There was something a bit strange about James Tavernier's decision to call time on his Rangers career. It certainly caught me on the hop, he said. Having listened to him being interviewed on Monday, there was absolutely no reason to believe that he'd be making this announcement within just a couple of days. That sudden shift is what clearly unsettled Ferguson the most. From contract talks still seemingly possible to a confirmed exit in a matter of days, the former Rangers captain admitted he's still processing it. And to be perfectly honest, I'm still not completely sure how I actually feel about it. I had been thinking there was still time for him and Rangers to reach an agreement over a new deal. But that was quickly nipped in the bud on Wednesday when Tav made it clear that he'll be moving on after 11 years at the club. So yes, I'm left with a mixture of emotions. Despite his concerns over the timing, Ferguson was quick to show respect for Tavernier, not just as a player, but as a leader behind the scenes. I did think the statement he released on social media was brilliantly worded and very emotional. I was fortunate enough to get to know this man over a period of 3 or 4 months last season, and I was taken aback by how impressive he was as a person, as a professional, and as a captain. So I'll be sad to see him go because I know how much wearing that armband meant to him. But even with that admiration, Ferguson circled back to the core issue. Why now? Obviously all things have to come to an end, and in football, things can change at the drop of a hat. But even so, I was a bit surprised that he has chosen to come out with this now when there are just 5 games to go in the run-in. And yet, within that shock lies an opportunity. A dramatic ending is now firmly on the table, and Ferguson believes Tavernier has set the stage for something unforgettable. The flip side is, well, what a way to go out. If this is time to bring down the curtain, then at least he can now go with the ultimate bang. He's certainly given himself and all of his teammates a hell of a target. Win these next 5 games and then he can bow out as a champion again. I honestly could not think of a more fitting tribute for a guy who has given such enormous service to the club over more than a decade. Still, Ferguson was clear on one thing. This announcement won't suddenly light a fire under Tavernier. In his eyes, that fire has always been there. The only blight over his time has been the fact that he's only lifted 3 trophies. I know that will irritate him. But I don't believe this decision will make him even more motivated to add a 4th before he leaves. Knowing him the way I do, he doesn't need any extra motivation. He'll have had his heart set on this title since the first day of pre-season, regardless of anything else. And perhaps most passionately, Ferguson pushed back against critics who have labelled Tavernier a failure, a narrative he clearly finds frustrating. Trust me when I say he was an immaculate professional and a joy to work with, so it annoys me when people talk about him as some kind of failure. He's been anything but. Yes, Rangers as a football club hasn't been winning anywhere near as much as it should have been over his time in Glasgow, but that's not been down to just one man. Tav is just the guy who has had to front it up. With the title race reaching boiling point, Tavernier's announcement has added an entirely new layer of drama to Rangers' season. The question now isn't just whether they can win the league, it's whether their long-serving captain can deliver the perfect farewell under the brightest pressure imaginable. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.